Hi, I am Dell with Healing Frequencies Music at healingfrequenciesmusic.com. And I'm taking some time to answer questions that newsletter subscribers have asked. People have asked me on the Facebook page or in the Music Frequencies uh, Q&A page on Facebook. Um, so I just am going to start a series where I'm answering questions that come at me via various sources. Uh, and then I encourage you to sign up for the Healing Frequencies Music newsletter, where about every 7 days, you get more information on the whole aspects of frequency related topics. So I hope you're enjoying the journey. If you're already on it, if you're not, I encourage you, go to healingfrequenciesmusic.com, sign up for the newsletter, get all kinds of yummy goodness along the way, including a bunch of free stuff, which is hidden throughout the various newsletters. You know, can you say treasure hunt? Anyway, this video today is about arcing with the intent. And you might thinking, what does that mean? Intent, in order to have intent, there has to be something that comes before that. I explain it to people as you have this thought river that's flowing right in front of you. And think of this river immediately after a storm. You've got the storm and there's leaves and branches and all kinds of debris floating down the river. You're sitting on the riverbank watching all of this stuff floating by. And then you decide, okay, I'm going to go, I really like this leaf that's floating in the river. So you go pick that leaf out. You take that leaf, then you intend to do something with that leaf. It creates a desire, which then forms an intent. Then the intent is the action of your desire. So I look at our lives and what's going through our heads as a thought river. We've got all of these thoughts constantly flowing through this thought river. And we can choose at any time to pick up thoughts that are floating down the river or just let the river float on by. So most of what goes through our mind in the area of thoughts has something to do with what we're paying attention to, what we're pulling in, grabbing, or what we're just letting slide on down the river. So the moment that you pick something up, that you start entertaining a thought, then it becomes a desire. So I have some blog posts. One's called Thoughts, Intents, Action. Those create three things together that bring what I call a governmental authority, or because you need three things that work together in harmony. And sometimes it's a good harmony, sometimes it's not a good harmony, in order to make that thing work and have strength to it. So you have your thought, you have your intent, then you have your action. So when you have this thought river going down in front of your imagination, and then you pick and choose what you're going to pull out of that river, your thought turns it into an intent. That intent turns into some form of an action. And again, this is both good and negative. So then you have your thought is here. Then you have your action, which is here. When you take a thought, your intent here, and you arc it with the action, you've created a form of energy that creates the new thing. Or, well, actually, if I say it, your thought, you arc that with your intent, that creates energy. Okay? A lot of people come to me saying, okay, I want to listen to this specific frequency. The most popular one I get asked about all the time is the 528 hertz. It is said to be the love frequency, and it might be the love frequency. We don't know. I mean, my body is not the same as yours. What musical frequencies are going to work best within my body may not be the best for your body. You have to determine what resonates with you. So when people come up and ask me, like if they're buying a crystal bowl, which bowl should I buy? I don't know. Go listen to them, play them, determine which one is feeling good with you right now. That's the one your body needs. And then what you do is you take that intent, whatever it is that you're wanting, and let's say you really like that 528 hertz, and you arc your intent with that 528 hertz, that together creates the energy that's needed for that to work. They always say that music comes with intent. You can generally get an underlying gut feeling of what that intent is like. You're listening to something and like, okay, there's something weird about this. Now, if it's got lyrics, you're going to know right away. Pretty much the intent is spelled out in the lyrics. But if it's simply instrumental music, especially healing instrumental music, if you're listening to something and you have this feeling, then you're probably reacting to the intent that was arced with the actual frequency to create the energy that you're feeling is. But on the other hand, if you've got the intent of the performer or the musician arced with that particular frequency and it feels really good, and you know that they've put healing intent into it, then that's going to bring healing energy. If that, hopefully that makes sense to you. You know, people ask me all the time, which frequency, which bowl, how do I do this? How do I do that? There is really no set or specific way to choose. Now, there are some frequencies. Most of those are way up above the hearing range. And again, there's usually two frequencies that are required that can actually address illnesses. For example, the Rife machine and Royal Raymond Rife created a machine that killed cancer. They're finding out that it took two frequencies up in the 100,000 to 300,000 hertz range that were aimed directly at whatever these cancerous cells were that were able to kill them. That's different than if you're just listening to music. You take the music that here's the music. We're going to call my right hand the music. Then you're going to call my left hand here the intent. So you put those two together and it creates that energy that's needed. And let's say you as a listener come in and you really like a particular piece of music. You can add your intent to it also. If it's something that you really like and something that you really enjoy, then take it and add your intent into it and say, I really like this song. I really want to arc my intent with that so that it brings healing into me. It might bring peace. It might bring joy. It might bring comfort. All of those things affect you physically because that's where your intent is. So intent has to be part of the recipe. That intent has to be arced with the actual music or this frequency to really make it work to its fullest. And I believe that that's one of the reasons why so many people respond to the 528 hertz is because there's this intent out there. And so many people have said, this is the love frequency. All right, so a whole bunch of people have grabbed onto that intent. It has stuck. And that's what people's idea of what that frequency is. So of course it's going to work because those two have arced together and created the energy of love that brings that frequency into that. Now I've taken the same frequency and as in the 528 creative DNA music essence that Freedom Flowers sells. And I've, just spoken healing into that. I've released healing, the intent of healing, that it would go into your very DNA of your body and it would just bring healing. And sure enough, people who take it without knowing that that was what my intent was, they know that there's something healing about it. And it's going to be different for every person based on what you each individually need. I think that we want to put a formula on something and say, well, this is going to have to work. And this is, if it's 527 hertz, it's not going to work. It has to be 528 hertz. I think we have to be very careful about doing that. So just remember that intent is part of the frequency recipe. You can take any frequency, 432, 444, even 440, and put the intent of it being helpful for you. And it can be. Now, there are some people who respond to different frequencies, and I've talked to 2 different people who've already figured out, I can't handle this, but I can handle this. They knew and experimented with certain frequencies and allowed their body to tell them what their body needed. And then they choose music with those frequencies and then arc their intent with it. So the key is we can't be absolute. The other thing is arc your intent with the frequency to create the desired energy that you're looking for in that frequency. So hopefully that explains it. I encourage you again to go to healingfrequenciesmusic.com, read all the blog posts on that, especially read the information about the ancient solfeggio frequencies, because I go into some of this in those, along with giving some musical history about it. And then subscribe to the newsletter, because I send out little tidbits every 7 days for 8-9 months, giving you lots of information on how frequencies work. I use the newsletter more as informational and educational, as well as updating people with the happenings and goings on, of Healing Frequencies Music. So subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can get updated mini Q&A answers right here. And if you have other questions, feel free to put them below these videos or use the Contact Us page on the Healing Frequencies Music website. And once I see a whole bunch of people are asking the same questions, I will put out a YouTube video answering those questions. So enjoy your day, and thank you for checking out this video, and be sure to subscribe so you get more videos.